I'm getting LTE on this phone. So, all right guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So it's time to give you a little bit of a review for the Redmi S2 by Xiaomi. So this is kind of more of what we've seen from Xiaomi lately. They're going with the 6-inch display, the 18:9 ratio, you know, the really decent cameras, especially for the price range. But this one is a little different because it has a 720p display. Not that that really mattered, because the phone is actually, it's been pretty good using it daily, or when I do get a chance to use it. Not a 24-hour usage on this phone, more like third SIM slot type of usage. But you know, this is something that we've all seen before. Really what this phone is I'm kind of getting at, the hardware is a little different, the cameras are a little bit different, and it's just it's a decent budget phone for 170 bucks. Definitely the hardware and cameras and screen take it over the top compared to some other phones in this price range. So starting with the build quality, I would say that this build quality is teetering on higher end mid-range quality. It may look a little different with the black antenna lines. However, it is actually a pretty solid build on here. And again, this is much of what we've seen from Xiaomi in the past. You know, they're giving us a headphone jack and an IR blaster, a pretty decent speaker on the bottom, and some good cameras. They're touting AI cameras. You know, it's got a fingerprint reader and a nice large screen on the front. What more could you ask for? But the build quality itself feels pretty good in the hand. It's a nice big screen when you need it to be, but it's still slim enough to hold and manage, not being too wide. So build quality, I checked the box on that. It's actually pretty good. As for the screen, it is 720p, but you know, no one's really counting pixels on the screen except for techies. And if you're just watching content, the only time I was reminded that it was a 720p display is that when I was trying to change things to 1080p, and I was like, oh shoot, this is a 720p display. But the quality is still great. It's like high quality in your hand, I guess I want to say. It may not be as sharp as HDR and 1080p and things like that, but from 720p to 1080p, I'm going to tell you, I don't see much difference. When you start getting the HDR on screens that have HDR compliant screens, then you can see the difference. But this is just a very nice high quality display for it being 720p. There are a lot of 720p screens out there, especially from Motorola. You know, this one competes with the best of them. It's a really nice display. Battery life on this thing has actually been pretty decent. It will last you for a day or more, depending on what you're doing. For a heavy user, you can definitely get through a full day and definitely some more. And for a person that just uses their phone regularly, you're gonna get a ton of battery out of this thing. I mean, it's got a nice big battery inside. Still got the slim form factor, so it can go into any bag or any purse or anything, or whatever you guys are carrying. But you know, performance of the battery is superb. I mean, it's a 720p display with a great processor inside. So, you know, you really can't go wrong with that. I mean, a Snapdragon 625 with 3 gigs of RAM, you know, with a 720p display, you're going to get some great battery life. No matter who you are, you should definitely be able to knock out some good battery life. Now, when I talked about the cameras the photos come out really, really good, but I still haven't been able to get over that audio thing. So it could be something in the settings that I'm doing wrong, but I've never had a phone where I turn it on and the audio is a little off when I'm recording. Like it takes a second to pick up the audio and then I have to start talking. So it's kind of strange, but things happen. So I'm not saying your unit will be like this, because some of you guys have already bought this phone. So you let me know in the comments if you're having that issue, and then maybe I'll just do a factory reset and call it a day. But other than that, I mean, the photos come out fantastic. I mean, it's a great set of cameras on here, front and rear, in my opinion. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with, though, is the speaker on this. I've got a lot of bottom firing speakers on phones. You know, some of them are really, really loud. This one, on the other hand, not as loud as I thought it was going to be based on my other Xiaomi phones. This one is loud, but not that loud. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit louder, but it is just a bottom firing speaker, so it's good enough though. You just have to crank the volume up to 90 to 100, 80 to 100 to get the real gist of how you can enjoy your content that you're watching. Another thing is, I wish Xiaomi would go ahead and get rid of the micro USB that they keep putting on these phones. I know the price is down, but we all know now you can get Type-C phones for less than 200 bucks. So, and Xiaomi has some of them. So it's kind of strange that on this phone and a lot of the phones that I have in the S line and the Redmi line, they still have micro USB ports on them. So it's kind of crazy, but not really a fan of that because it forces me to use and carry a different charging cable. But in my car, I have like the multi-plug, so, but I rarely, you know, it's just frustrating to still see this in 2018. Not that this is a bad thing, it's just that, you know, remember a while back, oh, we're going all Type-C, you know, this was the run, it, you know, was out there in the world, and people, companies are still releasing micro USB phones. I wish Xiaomi would kind of move away from that. Other than that, folks, I mean, day-to-day usage and performance, we all know that the Snapdragon 625 is a fantastic processor. It's tried and true. That's why Xiaomi can use it, and several companies that keep using it are winning. So all I can say is that, you know, if it's not broken, obviously don't fix it. But the phone is good. It's a decent phone. I would definitely recommend it at this point in the game, and it's affordable, and it definitely competes with several other OEMs out there, what Xiaomi is doing. A lot of people discuss when I review phones like this, oh, it only has band this, it only has band that. I can't stress it enough, and I can always tell who's paying attention in the videos that I'm posting, because in nearly all of these videos like this, where I'm talking about phones that are, you know, sent over from Xiaomi or I get for review, or just phones that are not, they don't have all the bands, I always bring up the LTE model, the LTE, and that's going to depend on where you live and what carrier you're using. All these phones, I'm testing them on T-Mobile, so I'm getting full LTE. Most of the phones I have either have band 2 or band 4, or they have at least one of the main bands that we'll need for LTE in the US. And I talked about this in another video, and some people say, oh, no, you gotta have all the bands. Well, when you get the global model, if you're buying a phone that I'm reviewing and you want it, it's not about me just getting the affiliate link. It's about you getting exactly what I have. So that way you can test it. Yeah, the kickbacks are for the affiliate link, but trust me, folks, it's not like what you think. Like, the phone may cost, this phone costs 170 bucks. I may get $2. I may get $4. You're not, you're supporting the channel, but you're not making me rich. And at the same time, you're getting the exact phone that I'm getting. So when I talk about these LTE bands, use the link in the description of my video. Yes, it helps me out a little bit. However, you're getting exactly what I have, so you can give your opinion. If you're questioning what I'm saying about the LTE, you can get it yourself and you can figure out if it works for LTE for you. But I'm telling you, most of these phones, and not just me, several other YouTubers, Donovan and Mobile Geezer, they definitely have a lot of the same phones that I have in the past that were Xiaomi. And they get LTE, and they're complete. One is in Michigan, the other one is in Tennessee, and they're getting full LTE, no problems. Now, some people say, oh, it says 4G on the top. Well, some Chinese manufacturers use the LTE signal. It's just a programming thing, where it shows LTE at the top. Most say 4G. Just go into the settings, and you'll see that it's actually LTE. You can also base this on your experience with the LTE. So, with that being said, I have to put that out there though, because I can tell that a lot of people don't watch the videos in entirety, and they start off, and I can tell who's commenting before watching the entire video, because you ask things like that. Does it work on Metro? All these phones work on GSM providers? Can't stress it enough. LTE, full LTE. There you go. So it's your man Jay Will. This is a really decent phone, with the exception of a few minor things that I pointed out that was kind of a dislike to me. It's a good phone. I can recommend it, especially if you're looking for some good cameras and a good battery life. Man, you're gonna really enjoy this phone to take photos with it. It's your man Jay Will. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.